Everyone talks about cravings and relapse, but the real issue, the one that actually makes people spiral into relapse, is the F word. Not that one, although you know it's a personal favorite. I'm talking about the real F word, feelings. And if you've spent years numbing everything with alcohol, that word hits different. And it can show up in a few different ways. You feel nothing, completely numb. You feel everything all at once, or you have no idea what you're feeling at any given moment. And all of that is totally normal. When I first got sober, I couldn't identify or articulate a feeling if my life depended on it, because I spent years running from them and drowning them. So if you're not yourself, but you can't explain why, if you feel stuck, unmotivated, like life is happening around you instead of with you, and maybe you're thinking, I should feel better than this by now, or why can't I just pull it together? There's nothing wrong with you, my friend. You're just getting reacquainted with your feelings after years of shutting down and numbing out. The fog is lifting, the volume's getting louder, and you haven't learned how to navigate it yet. And let me be clear, this doesn't have to be a relapse waiting to happen. But if you don't get some tools and start taking the right actions, it certainly can be. So in this episode, we're diving into what it all means, how to start understanding feelings again, and how to cope with it all without running back to a drink. Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh, master life coach, recovery pro, and someone who's helped thousands of people build powerful, alcohol-free lives. So when you quit drinking, you expect your life to get better. You expect to feel more clarity, have more energy, more motivation. And at first, your life does get better, right? Some people sleep deeper. You're not constantly battling hangovers and all the guilt. You feel hopeful, even energized. In recovery circles, we call this the pink cloud. It's that period where everything feels fresh, light, and full of possibility. You're finally not poisoning your body every night. You're not living in damage control. You're not waking up ashamed. And that does feel good. And while a lot of people say the pink cloud ends, I don't necessarily agree. For me, it never came like crashing down. It just shifted. See, when you first get sober, your brain and body are still recalibrating. You're functioning better. You're proud of yourself. The initial relief is real, but it doesn't last forever. Because remember what I always tell you, sobriety is removing the alcohol. Recovery is healing. Recovery is about finally facing the stuff that alcohol helped you avoid. So if you feel the comfort of the pink cloud changing, that's the emotional avoidance wearing off. Alcohol wasn't just something you used, it was something you relied on. You used it to soften disappointment, to avoid confrontation, to push down grief, frustration, insecurity, to bypass hard conversations. And if you're a high performer, you probably got really good at hiding that pain and pretending everything was fine. So here's what happens when you stop drinking. You take away the thing that kept your emotions muted, and the stuff you drank to escape, it didn't disappear. It's just been waiting. The irritations, the shame, the anxiety, the grief, that inner critic that's always running, those things are still alive and well, and now they want your attention. This isn't just emotional. This is neurological. You've been numbing and avoiding for years. That's not just a habit. Now it's your wiring. Your dopamine system is dysregulated. Your nervous system has been in survival mode for a long time. You may be experiencing symptoms of something called PAWS, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. And that can be mood swings, disrupted sleep, emotional blunting, low motivation, and a kind of emotional gray area where nothing feels exciting. And if you're feeling any of that, just know there's nothing wrong. You're just feeling the fog lift. And now your nervous system is going, what the hell do I do with all of this? You've taken away that emotional silencer, but you haven't yet built the tools to process what's coming up. And that's the space so many people fall into. They're not in danger of relapse because of cravings. They're in danger of relapse because they don't know how to manage emotions. You're waking up emotionally. And like any muscle that hasn't been used in a long time, it's going to feel sore and awkward before it feels strong and automatic. And P.S., if you want to deep dive into PAWS, post-acute withdrawal syndrome, check out some episodes that I've linked in the show notes. There are 3 right off the top of my head that break this down in detail, and they are a must listen if this part of recovery has caught you off guard. And this is like really your first 6 to 9 months. If you're there and you're experiencing a lot of this emotional disruption, go to the show notes and listen to those episodes on PAWS. Now, maybe you're hearing all of this and thinking, that's not me. I'm not overwhelmed by feelings. I'm not really feeling anything at all. If that's you, you're probably emotionally dissociated. When you've spent years numbing everything, especially if you were the kind of drinker who always kept it together, handled your business, looked high functioning on the outside, then dissociation is probably your default setting. Emotional numbness is a form of self-protection. It's your brain saying, this is too much. We don't know what to do with this, so we'll just shut it down. And for many people, emotional shutdown is even scarier than emotional chaos. Because at least if you're crying, yelling, or anxious, you know something's happening, right? But when you're numb, you don't feel connected to anything. You're just going through the motions. You can't name what's wrong. You're not even sure how you feel about anything anymore. That's a nervous system in freeze mode. You've heard of fight or flight, right? Well, there's a third response, freeze. When your system doesn't feel safe to fight or flee, it just shuts down. And alcohol was a great tool for staying frozen. Now that it's gone, your system doesn't know what to do. It hasn't learned how to feel and stay safe at the same time. So if you feel checked out, emotionally flat, or disconnected from your life, know that that's a part of the process too. You're not doing sobriety wrong. You're just learning how to come back online emotionally. And the first step is noticing that you're numb. That's a feeling too. It's just a quieter one. It means your system is trying to protect you. And now it's time to build the skills to safely feel again. Let's talk about what this actually looks like in real life. Because emotional overwhelm and emotional numbness don't always show up the way you'd expect. Sometimes it's obvious, you're crying, snapping at people, feeling anxious all day long. But other times it's way more subtle. You're not falling apart, but you're not fully present either. You're going through the motions, checked out, flat, restless. So let's name some of the ways this phase might show up for you. If you're emotionally overwhelmed, you might feel like your mood is swinging all over the place. You might be extra irritable. Tiny things are setting you off. You feel hypersensitive or easily hurt. You're reacting strongly, but you don't really know why. You're crying more or crying for the first time in years. You might be thinking, I should feel better than this by now. You might feel like the smallest thing could push you over the edge, or like your emotions are too big for your body to hold. This is that flood feeling. Your emotions have been held back for so long, and now they're all showing up at once. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong, right? It's just a system that's been quiet for a long time and now it's waking up. Now, if you're emotionally numb or shut down, you might feel like you're not sad, but you're not happy either. You feel indifferent about everything. You zone out a lot, like your brain is buffering. You're exhausted all the time, but you're not really doing much. You don't feel connected to people or even to yourself. You feel like you're watching your own life on a screen. You're not feeling bad, but you're not really feeling anything. That's emotional dissociation. It's your system going into freeze mode. It says, let's shut everything down until it feels safe to open up again. And honestly, that's a survival mechanism. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's not failure. It's survival. Now, maybe you're ping-ponging between the two. 1 minute you're numb, the next you're overwhelmed. You're irritable and edgy in the morning and shut down and avoidant by afternoon. Jesus, I feel like that's the story of my life. You cry because your coffee order was wrong, then feel nothing when something major happens at work or at home. And this is common too, and it's confusing as hell. But again, this is just a system in rewire mode. Your brain is trying to learn how to feel in real time. It's trying to figure out, like, what is this feeling? What do I do with it? And is it safe to express it? The reality is, alcohol gave you a shortcut. It bypassed the feeling process entirely. Now that shortcut is gone and your system is a little lost. And if any of this sounds like you, here's what I want you to hear. This is a normal part of recovery and it's figure outable. You don't need to be fluent in your emotions today. You just need to be willing to start learning. Everything I just described, numbness, overwhelm, shutdown, overreaction, it's all normal. This isn't a sign that something's gone wrong. It's a sign that you're actually healing. Most people think that once you quit drinking, you should immediately feel great. And at first you do. That's the pink cloud. But when that wears off, what you're left with is reality. Your life, your emotions, your patterns, your pain, all the stuff you drank to avoid. And most of us were never taught how to deal with emotions, especially if you started drinking young or used alcohol to get through hard things. Emotional avoidance became your survival strategy. You don't have emotional tools because you didn't need them. You had alcohol. And that worked until it didn't. So now you're sober and emotions are showing up raw, loud, and unfiltered, or they're showing up as silence, stillness, numbness. Either way, your nervous system is trying to figure out what the hell to do now. You're just emotionally untrained, and that's a skill set you can build. Let me say that again. Emotional fluency is a skill. It's not something you either have or don't. It's something you can learn, like a language or like building your muscles. And when you realize that, you can stop beating yourself up. Stop saying I should be farther along by now and start asking, okay, how do I learn this? This is something I work on with my coaching clients every day. How to identify emotions, how to process them without spiraling, how to feel them without drowning, how to stop running and start building that emotional skill set. Because once you build an emotional toolkit, you stop fearing the feelings. You stop avoiding them. You stop reaching for escape, whether that's food, alcohol, scrolling, snapping at people just to offload your stress. You stop reacting and you start responding with intention and clarity and power. This is emotional strength training. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay present. And that's where we're going next. Before we get into the tools and how to start feeling again, let's talk about one of my favorite ways to not feel like I'm drowning in life. And that's sliding into my bed with cozy earth sheets and wrapping up in my bubble cuddle blanket. I say it all the time. Sobriety isn't about being perfect. It's about building your safe places. And for me, that's 100% my bed. I've got the Cozy Earth sheets. They're made from viscose from bamboo, and they legit keep me cooler even in the crazy Midwest humidity. And the bubble cuddle blanket, it lives on my bed, but somehow ends up on the couch in my office, wrapped around my nephew. Like everyone in my house tries to steal this thing. It's incredible. Cozy Earth is all about making your 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., the time that actually matters, feel like a retreat. So if your life feels a little messy right now, at least your bed doesn't have to. They offer a 100-night sleep trial, a 10-year warranty, and I'm telling you, once you sleep in these sheets, you will never want anything else. So here's the deal. Go to cozyearth.com and use my code Angela for 40% off. That's Angela at checkout for 40% off your new favorite place in the house. And if they send you a post-purchase survey, let them know you heard about it right here on Addiction Unlimited, because your bed shouldn't just be where you sleep. It should be your happy place. And Cozy Earth makes that possible. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually start feeling again, because this isn't just about understanding emotions. It's about building real tools to work with them. Now that we've pulled back the curtain on why you're feeling emotionally off or not feeling much at all, let's talk about what you can actually do about it. And listen, this isn't about fixing yourself. You're not broken, okay? It's about rebuilding emotional skills that alcohol kept you from developing. Because if alcohol was your emotional manager, then sobriety is your emotional rehab. And here's the good news. You don't need 27 new habits or a perfect morning routine. You just need a few simple practices to help you start feeling again safely and intentionally. So tool number 1, name it to tame it. This is the foundation. If you can't name it, you can't work with it. Most of us grew up without emotional vocabulary, right? We say things like, fine, I'm stressed, I'm tired, whatever. But we're not really naming what's going on. We actually talked about this in last week's episode because it's that important. Step 1 in building emotional fluency is learning how to name what you're experiencing. And I don't mean deep therapy work or journaling for hours. I mean literally say it out loud or write it down. I'm maxed out right now. I feel behind and it's triggering me to feel inadequate. I say that literally 4,000 times a day. I'm trying to control everything so I can feel safe. When you name what's happening, you take the power away from the shame spiral. It's no longer this invisible pressure. It's just a moment. And you can work with that. So take a breath and name it and remind yourself, this is a moment, not a life sentence. And start with some basic feeling words: sad, mad, glad, afraid, ashamed, lonely, hopeful, anxious. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. Just name it. Right now, I feel blank. Right now, I feel disappointed. Right now, I feel anxious and tense. That's it. You're building emotional awareness, not perfection. And if you want to practice, do a daily journal, 1 sentence. Today I felt blank when blank. That's it. 1 sentence. Start doing this every day. Do it for a couple of weeks and you can start seeing some patterns in what's happening for you. You're teaching your brain to stop running and start noticing, and that alone will change everything. Tool number 2, move the feeling. Don't solve the problem, right? One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to think their way through a feeling. But feelings aren't problems to solve. They're energy that needs to move. And here's something you may not know. Your body stores emotional energy, especially unprocessed trauma, stress, and negative emotions. If you've been pushing feelings down for years or living in constant survival mode, that emotional energy doesn't just disappear. It gets stored in your muscles, your posture, your breathing, even your gut. That's why you might feel tightness in your chest or tension in your shoulders. You might catch yourself clenching your jaw or having stomach aches or low back pain, or just that constant sense of being on edge. That's not random. That's your body holding on. And if you never move that energy out of you, if you never release it, it stays stuck. You don't have to go back and unpack every emotional wound you've ever had, but you do have to learn how to move the energy out of your system. That might mean going for a walk, take a cold shower, cry, scream in your car, dance around your house, shake your hands and your body out for 60 seconds. It might be doing breath work, yoga, stretching, whatever works for you. The point is, stop trying to rationalize your feelings and start learning to move through them. Whatever it is, don't bottle it, don't numb it, don't rationalize it. Move it. Even just a couple of minutes of intentional movement can shift your entire nervous system out of freeze mode. So if you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or shut down, before you try to figure it out, move. Let your body do what it knows how to do. You don't have to carry it. You can release it all. Tool number 3, and this one is huge, lower the bar. Most people try to do sobriety right by aiming for some sort of emotional mastery. They want to feel calm and patient and peaceful and productive every single day. But guess what? You're human and you're relearning how to feel. So your job right now isn't to fix every emotion. It's to tolerate them. Here's the mindset shift. Discomfort is not danger. This feeling won't kill me. I can sit with this for 90 seconds. Start there. Set your emotional bar low, like I'll name one feeling today. I'll breathe through a moment without reacting. I'll stay present instead of numbing. That's the work. That's the win. So if you take one thing from today, let it be this. Name what you feel, move the energy, lower the bar, and sit with it. You're not trying to fix your emotions. You're learning how to handle them. That's the real flex. And if you want help building this muscle, this is exactly the kind of work I do with my coaching clients every single day. We build real emotional strength without shame, without overwhelm, and without going back to a drink to escape it. So if you're ready to stop screwing around and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you're ready to start moving forward, book a call with me. Let's talk about what that support could look like for you. The link is always in the show notes, addictionunlimited.com/call. Now, let's go a little deeper. What happens when you start feeling again? It's better, right? Yeah, it's messy, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable at first, but it's also the key to everything you've been looking for. You begin to feel present in your own life. You stop second guessing yourself. You speak with more clarity, make decisions faster, trust your gut again. You feel real joy, not just relief, right? You're not on edge waiting for the next thing to go wrong. You're grounded, clear, and feel more in control. This is how you take your power back, not by controlling everything around you, but by understanding and managing what's happening within you. Emotions are your compass. When you were numbing, you're flying blind. Now you're learning how to navigate. And yes, it's a learning curve, no question. But once you're willing to feel again, everything else starts to fall into place. And when you actually feel like you're more in control, you know what you're feeling. You can stay present even when it's uncomfortable. You don't panic when things don't go your way. You don't numb and scroll and rage or shut down. You pause and respond. You don't spiral when someone disappoints you. You don't explode or implode, right? You manage. This isn't about emotional perfection. It's emotional maturity. And this is what people really mean when they say, I just want to feel like myself again. I want to get my life back. I want to be in control. You start to recognize your patterns before they hijack you, right? You catch the shame spiral at the first thought, not the 20th. You can say no without feeling guilty and say yes without fear. You create safety for yourself instead of constantly seeking it externally. And when you get good at naming your feelings, you really realize how long you misnamed them, right? How long you really didn't know what the hell was going on. You realize, like, I'm not actually angry, I'm scared. Like, that was a huge one for me because, and this is true for a lot of people, but anger is a very acceptable emotion. So a lot of times, whatever you're feeling, it will come out as anger, whether that's being short-tempered or snippy, snappy, rude, condescending, passive aggressive, right? All that stuff is anger. But what's really going on is you're probably feeling fearful underneath it all, right? That was a huge revelation for me when I would sit back and go, okay, why am I being a jerk? Why am I being snappy with people and short-tempered? And when I would dig into what was really going on, it's like, damn, I'm fearful of my future, or I have some financial insecurity, right? I'm fearful of my money. Like, maybe I don't have enough money and I can't figure out how I'm going to make more money. Like, there's always some fear underneath it. So I'm not actually angry. I'm scared. Another big one is I'm not tired. I'm emotionally depleted because I'm running my cup too low and I'm not refilling that damn thing. Or I'm not behind, I'm expecting way too much of myself. Another huge one for me. But you stop needing alcohol or food or chaos or control to cope because now you know what's going on and you know how to work with it. You're building emotional resilience. And that doesn't mean nothing bothers you. It means you can handle what does bother you. You stop running from discomfort and avoiding emotions. You stop being afraid of your own inner world. And that's real, grounded, sober power right there. That's emotional sobriety. When you start saying things like, I feel more like myself than I have in years, or I trust myself. I can sit in silence without needing to escape. I'm not chasing happiness, I'm creating it. And let me say this clearly. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel peace. You deserve to feel joy without guilt. You deserve to feel your life fully, deeply, and on your terms. But that doesn't just happen. It's built, and that's what recovery is all about. And the biggest shift with this is you stop asking if you're doing sobriety right, because you're not just sober, you're emotionally equipped. You're creating peace instead of chasing it. This is where it stops being about not drinking and starts being about living. So if you've been waiting for that feeling of control to come back, this is where it starts, with emotional clarity and building the tools to navigate whatever shows up without falling apart. If this episode hit home for you, if you've been sitting in the fog, overwhelmed or disconnected, not sure what's going on or how to get through it, then this is a great time to take the next step. And this is what we do with personal coaching, not just white knuckling your way through a hard season, but we talk about what you want, what's keeping you stuck, and how to close that gap, right? Without going back to day one. So again, use the link in the show notes to book a call with me. And let's talk about what it looks like to have real support, not just in sobriety, but in your life. Now, let's wrap this up with what I hope is the most important reminder of all. You're not doing sobriety wrong. You're just feeling again. And that discomfort or numbness or overwhelm, it's not a setback. It's your nervous system recalibrating. The emotional avoidance is lifting. And that's where the real transformation begins. So here's what we talked through today. You learned why emotional numbness or overload is common in sobriety. It's not a flaw. It's just part of your healing. You got clarity on what it looks like in real life so you can finally stop feeling confused or ashamed about where you are. And you got 3 real powerful tools. Name it so you can break the shame spiral, move it so you can stop storing emotional energy in your body, and lower the bar so you can stop avoiding discomfort and start building tolerance, right? Because this isn't about fixing your feelings, it's learning how to handle them. That's what creates power. That's what creates peace. That's how you stop reacting to life and start leading it. So here's what I want you to do today, right now. Pick one tool from this episode and use it today. Just one. Name how you feel. Go for a 10-minute walk when you're feeling agitated. Pause and breathe instead of reacting. Start small, but start. Because the only way to get out of this stuck place is to move through it. And if you want help doing that, if you want tools, support, structure from someone who's done this work for years, then I'm your guy. Book a call, link in the show notes, addictionunlimited.com/call. You don't need to go back to drinking. You just need a new way to deal with what you used to drink over. And now you've got the start of that. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.